Hey guys, so this is What If Deku Went to Monster School Part 2. Now, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'm just going to be quicking this up because I'm going to be doing like a triple, quadruple upload this weekend to get all my videos out. Now, for my stop motions and other content like that, because I am going to dabble into vlogging later this year, and also maybe dab a little bit into maybe cooking, probably not, definitely not, but basically I'm going to be dabbing into vlogging. I'm also going to be doing, I am very close to doing my first reaction or gaming video very soon. So yeah, basically, yeah, so I'm going to be doing my first gaming video a couple months away from now, and also I'm going to be doing my next stop motion, my Predator versus Wolverine. Now, that stop motion isn't the best, but I don't want to delete it and re-record all of it and make it better because I'm kind of on a deadline. So basically, I'm just going to be posting that and make an episode 2 of that with better flowing, stop motion. Because in that stop motion, I made it a little bit too choppy, and I messed with the speed way too much throughout the stop motion and made it look really wonky. So just watch it. It's only 4 minutes long, and just, I don't know, like it when it comes out. And then I'll make a better a better stop motion. My next stop motion I'm going to be doing after that video comes out is Spider-Man 2099. And yeah, so I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please like and subscribe. And as always, guys, let's just dive right into this video. Now, we started our story off last time we left off where Deku would be sent back home with Merlin after he would have used light magic against the Bloodhound, or the Hellhound, in their combat training. And they would have gone to school the next day, as they would have been pretty much, sitting down in class. They would be taught about magic trinkets, as magic trinkets would be a very, normal thing in this universe. As magic trinkets they'll be taught about the dangers of magical items and other things such as that. As Bakugo would have scoffed, saying, "My family already owns a bunch of magical items. It's nothing really new." As Ozawa, corrects him, saying that other magical items that are supposed to be, quick little jokes for teenage wizards and other wizard or magical creatures mainly end up in either death, destruction, or chaos, and even people finding out about wizards and other mythical creatures in the other world. As in this, what I forgot to mention, dimensions are the same thing, but dimensional travel, time traveling, and everything like that is a part of this wizard type of supernatural world. Now, basically, what he says is Ozawa kind of, dismisses that because he knows half of his students probably will never go to the other world, a dimension where supernatural creatures are basically a myth. So basically, he just dismisses that, and later on in his pretty much teachings, as he explains, and he picks out an assignment for them. An assignment called the Magic Box. A box that is filled with so much magic, but every time the user grabs it, the box pops out some sort of magical spell that you can't even know what it does, as it leads to destruction, death, or even things beyond death. So, pretty much, it's like a death spell box, or a fun box. It could be switched to death, and funny, and hurtful. Spells that could hurt you, kill you, or just overall give you minor inconvenience, like a spell that ties your shoes together, or a spell that makes you slip in water and fall on your back. Stuff like that. So, they're all given this box as an assignment to stay, and to keep their will strong, because half of the students in this class are super addicted to magic, especially other wizards in the classroom. As what happens is Deku basically just walks off as he's given an assignment that week, and it goes on that weekend. Now we can switch a couple, days later, blah blah. So basically, it's just normal, school days about teachings of math, science, and also some special wizard stuff between there. Now what happened is Deku would have grabbed it, as he would have looked at the box, Merlin saying that he can use it, but just being very careful. As Deku pits it on, pretty much funny, and he, cranks it up a little bit, almost going to the hurtful type of spells. He opens the box, and a spell pops out, a wording of the spell. He pronounces it, waving his hand in the air, as out of nowhere, a huge flame ball comes out of his hand. As in, well, his hand just catches on fire instantly as Deku pits it out and starts to use some healing magic on it. Now, pretty much what happens is Deku just picks up the box, putting it away, as he's kind of confused on what it's supposed to do. Is it just supposed to hurt wizards or give them a sense of spells? Deku spends hours and even a couple days, about like a day, spending and looking at this box, learning other spells and other spells that can hurt other and, well, defend himself. Also learning a spell about a certain type of vampire weakness. A spell called garlic. Just garlic. I was gonna say some sort of Latin interpretation of garlic, but I'm not really gonna Google that. So basically, what happens is this garlic spell, basically kind of like the leaf attack from the, grass type Pokemon. Basically, Deku pronounced the spell, and basically he waves his hands forward, and a huge type of tornado or blast of water sealed with garlic basically blasts out of his hands like a high pressure, water cannon. As it still hurts and pushes back people, but it especially hurts and burns pretty much vampires. Mainly because certain types of garlic can give a vampire pretty, let's just say really bad things. As also the garlic spell is also laced with vervain. Vervain, basically the same thing that hurts vampires from Vampire Diaries. So what happens is Deku learns this spell, and he learns a couple other spells, like a spell to make swords out of thin air, or a spell to basically teleport on another place to another place. So they go to school the next day, and they are taught about these sports in the school. A sport called dragon hunting, a sport called pretty much Romania wrestling, as it's basically just a pretty much, let's just say, a hunting game. It's called hunting in other cultures, but Romania is the main name for it, but I'm just going to call it hunting. As it's basically once a year, or once every couple of months in the school year, 5 individuals from multiple classes, maybe in the same class, are picked to go up against, well, other members of their class, and also fight against other monsters that are straight up monsters, not supernatural, so straight up monsters like mummies and other like chupacabras and other things like that. Basically, straight up monsters from folklore that, well, they have to fight in a type of tournament, Hunger Games type style, being given magical items to fight against these monsters, and being put into a magical fake forest to fight against these creatures. As they're given basically a little bit of a choice, as all students are given a panel to go to each sport in the magical school to see if they want to sign up for a magical sport. As Alex is given this assignment because he doesn't want to teach today. So they walk around the school as Deku teams up with Kirishima to walk down the school. Now what happens is Deku and Kirishima walk, and eventually we see that, well, they come across the dragon hunting or dragon fighting crew, as the majority of them ride dragons or have to go through a type of training to basically, well, just get a dragon. As Deku thinks about this, and he said it might be, I guess, cool. As Deku is told by Kirishima that dragons, half dragon riders in this sport die on their first tryouts, because the tryouts for this, pretty much sports team in the wizarding, world, or this magical world, is you have to go out into a dragon-infested island and tame a dragon straight up off the bat. Like, you're given at least 5 hours to tame a whole dragon, not no dragonling or a baby dragon, I mean a full-grown dragon. Like a dragon the size of a truck, or maybe a dragon the size of a small apartment, or a dragon the size of a freaking monster truck times 10. A giant dragon, or just a normal dragon. A normal dragon in this world is as big as, like, let's say, a normal type of shed. So what happened is basically Deku goes out to try to find a dragon, as he signs up for the team, as he tries to go out and do it. As Kirishima just says that is a bad idea, but he just joins him anyways because he thinks it might be cool but he ain't actually gonna, do it. He's just gonna join him for backup because they are giving backup, but not help. So Kirishima is there to watch him, but not to help him under no circumstances if it involves him taming a dragon or getting a dragon. So Kirishima goes with Deku as they go to a dragon-infested island. As they land there as Bakugo, we can switch back to Bakugo, where he signs up for the hunting team sport. As basically he just waits, as he's going to be, picked, and every few weeks they have to go through training to keep their, pretty much bodies at peak physical condition for the hunting sport. Now, pretty much the first training is that they have to run a literal marathon in only 20 minutes. Bakugo just transforms into a werewolf and gets it done pretty fast. Other people that are just wizards or either just normal mythical creatures get it done semi-okay. Especially the vampires and werewolves get it done pretty nice. Now what happens is after that, we see that pretty much the students in that class I signed up for it were mainly men, also women, but mainly people that just wanted to prove themselves or people that were just acting hardcore and tough. As Bakugo is given a task to go out in the forest and find a whole chupacabra and kill him. And I mean a full-grown chupacabra, an elder one that has been killing for thousands of years. And each year, one of the freshmen are sent there to kill this mythical creature to, well, get his powers. And every year, this mythical creature comes back to life for the next group of freshmen. As Bakugo, Mineta, and Denki follow Bakugo into the forest as they go and try to get this chupacabra. As we get switched back to Deku's story, as Deku's running in the forest, as he looks around seeing dragons fly above him and seeing that it's a very beautiful island, but him being stopped instantly when he sees a bunch of poisonous plants pretty much blocking off an entrance. As Kirishima says it's a poisonous plant, as it's very poisonous to more human creatures like wizards and other people like that, but it's very non-toxic to vampires and werewolves, but werewolves still feel pain from it. Vampires just can eat this stuff without feeling pain or even being well phased. So Baku just tells Deku to go on and he'll just stay here. As Deku says, "Are you serious?" As he says, "Well, I can't help you. There's no point in me just walking beside you the whole time." So Deku just scoffs and basically is kind of scared, but he tiptoes into the forest as he's walking among the dragons and sleeping eggs all around the place, as he eventually finds a breeding ground, a giant type of rock water area, kind of the same area where pretty much I think Toothless was retamed by Douglas, but we're just gonna skip over that. So basically what happens is Deku goes into this breeding ground as he walks around, as he sees a very big, giant, greenish black dragon. As he backs up, giving it a try as he tries to get the dragon's attention. As the dragon sees him as a threat and starts to chase him immediately off the bat, Deku starts to sprint off into the forest, running back and forth. As eventually he's cornered, and Deku just manages to tame the dragon or push it back, as he uses a fire spell, pushing the dragon back as he runs forward again. Hours go on for hours, as Deku's running for hours and hours away from this dragon creature, or this dragon he's trying to tame, as he eventually uses some sort of spell out of nowhere, just a reaction, as the spell pops out of his hands, as is a huge type of mist, a green mist, that covers the dragon. As the dragon is already his memories are rewritten to calibrate exactly for Deku. As the dragon falls in love with Deku, not falls in love with Deku, but becomes his servant, literally prepared to die for Deku. So Deku is confused, but basically this spell is permanent. It's a very dangerous spell that can make any of the most strong-minded of wizards or creatures become slaves to whoever uses the spell. So the dragon basically is Deku's little, I'm not gonna say it, but female dog. So pretty much the dragon, starts to follow after Deku, as the dragon is as big as Toothless, but maybe 2 times bigger. So what happens is this dragon follows Deku, and this dragon's build is exactly like Toothless's build, and he has the same powers as Toothless from How to Train Dragon, but with a green body and black tipped scales. So, well, he pretty much goes after Deku as he follows Deku, and Deku rides him all the way to where Bakugo is. I mean, Kirishima, sorry, Kirishima is. Now, Kirishima looks up to the sky and sees that Deku succeeded as they pretty much get on to the whole magic spell dragon. This magic spell dragon is basically just a dragon skeleton turned to life to fly them to the island to get their task done, or get Deku's task done. Deku flies back to the magic, school as Kirishima, sorry, I got them switched up a little bit. Kirishima gets onto the magic dragon and flies back to the school. Now, Bakugo congratulates, Kirishima congratulates Deku, saying that he did pretty good. As we get switched back to Bakugo's story, as out of nowhere we see Bakugo get hit with a huge blast of dark shadow type energy as he's getting pushed through about 3 different dead trees, him falling onto the ground coughing up blood. As Mineta's getting bodied, being choked out by the Chupacabra's foot, as pretty much Denki is trying to shock the Chupacabra with a bunch of electricity, the Chupacabra being stunned a little bit, but being strong enough to grab Denki by the throat and starting to choke him out and trying to kill him. As out of nowhere, Bakugo comes out full transformed as he bites the Chupacabra in the neck, trying to rip out his guts, or its neck bone. As he rips out the Chupacabra's neck bone as it falls down to the ground, as it looks at Bakugo, and says, "Is that all you got? Is that all you got? You're pathetic." As he says it in a more distorted voice, kind of like I think the main villain from Lord of the Rings with the sword outfit. I'm not a big Lord of the Rings fan, but what happens is he grabs Bakugo and starts to choke him out in his werewolf form. Bakugo lashes out in rage, using his claws to cut off the Chupacabra's arm as he lands on his feet and pounces on the Chupacabra, ripping him apart limb by limb, eventually it dying. As well, Bakugo yells out or howls into the night sky, because at this time it would be about like nighttime, or turning dark, as pretty much, Mineta and Kirishima would have been looking at Bakugo, as Bakugo was filled with rage and anger, wouldn't be in the right mindset, as he would have looked at Mineta and Denki as, hunting things. As he would have traced after them, as Denki would have booked it, leaving Mineta behind. Kind of like how, let's just say, somebody did to a certain dyed-haired girl in the quarry. So, basically, he books it. Denki leaves Mineta behind, and Mineta basically runs in the other opposite direction. Mineta running, eventually jumping into a pool of water. Now, Bakugo chooses to follow, Denki, as Denki's booking it as fast as possible. I mean, track star running. I mean, literally booking it. I mean, his hair is in the wind. He's not looking back at all. He starts running. Eventually, him running enough for the other group of people outside the forest to see them, as the senior there basically just say this senior is like a copycat of Hulk's from this universe, as he is a angel, basically a supernatural angel in this universe. Is basically just a wizard, but with wings that do the magic for them, and also they live for basically ever. And the only thing that can kill them is unholy weapons, like, let's say, upside down cross sword, or something like, let's say, a stupid amount of pretty much demonic energy. So what happens is, this version of Hawks with angel-like powers flies up there, as he can run or fly at supersonic speeds. As he goes up there to catch Denki before, Bakugo can get him. As Bakugo is knocked out with a simple flick of the wrist by this version of Hawks, as he falls down to the ground. As Bakugo de-transforms and waking up in Recovery Girl's office. As the Recovery Girl tells him that he's been pretty much, he lost control because he was filled with so much anger, and, he has to do a little bit more training now. As he goes back home, as his father basically talks to him, as Bakugo just, brushes it off, as he's trained a little bit more disciplined by his mother. Now we get switched away from Bakugo's story, as we get switched to Deku going back home, telling Merlin about his adventures, or his father about his adventures. As Merlin tells Deku that he's super proud of him, and that when he went to the school, he was also one of the best dragon riders and hunters. As what happens is basically Merlin says it's going to be one task you're going to have to do. You're going to have to choose between a new dragon, a very powerful dragon, or your dragon you've been training, or you're going to train for years. It was a very hard choice for me, but you have to do it. But basically Merlin tells Deku that it's not going to be for a long time until you're a senior. So, I'm proud of you, son. As we end off the story there, guys. Now, this isn't as long as the original or part 1, but I had to do it as fast as possible because I'm going to be doing a lot of uploading tonight. So, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Like and subscribe, and as always, guys, have a blessed day.